Itachi has seen a lot of things in his life. He's carried the whole shinobi world on his back, having witnessed its darkness, contributed to it even, and in the end was killed by it, having lost everything he loved to it. Naruto isn't too far different. He also has seen the world as it is, and has experienced that hatred firsthand. He's faced it, carried it, and in his own way, probably contributed to it, if only secretly in his heart. But unlike Itachi, Naruto never gave up, and he always believed that there was a better way out. Instead of being swallowed by guilt, he took his power and used it to make the world a better place. This story is the story that would have taken place if these two had truly met before everything was set in motion. A master plan cooked up by Hiruzen to give two misfits a friend. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, only 25% of our viewers are subscribed, so if you're a fan of the video, please like and double check if you are subscribed. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Hiruzen obliged and allowed him to do as he pleased. Though always slow to warm to new people, Naruto did begin to feel more comfortable around Shisui. A year passed and their little trio ended up becoming the closest of friends. But life was changing for Naruto. He began developing as a person. He had joined the Shinobi Academy. That being said, Naruto was trash at being a ninja. This wasn't designed to be an insult, this was just an honest opinion held by both Itachi and Shisui. So they took it upon themselves to help him learn. They explained to him Shuriken Jutsu, since this was what they were so good at. Accuracy is the key to Shuriken Jutsu. This requires intuition, perfect body control, and the ability to do math quickly in your own head. Naruto was already getting confused, so Itachi's explanation seemed to go into one ear and out the other. Shisui then spoke up. It's just something you get a feel for with practice. By practicing, you learn which angles work and which don't. Then you just wing it. Itachi looked over at Shisui questioningly, wondering how he could chalk Shuriken Jutsu up to something so brutish. That's when Shisui explained it. We're Uchiha, Itachi. We have the benefits of the Sharingan. That means we can see things more quickly and process things faster than others. Naruto doesn't have the benefit of extra perceived time, so cutting out all the mental work, he can find a way to manage. Itachi thought about it and noted that it did make sense, but then he began to wonder what might happen if he too, with his incredible reaction time, were to apply the same principles. Could he not throw more kunai and shuriken in an even grander number and pattern? As they continued to train Naruto, Shisui would finally stop Itachi while they were alone and officially switching out of their shifts to ask a question. Why do you train Naruto? Itachi gave an honest answer. Because he needs it. He wants to become a shinobi, but he's never gonna get there on his own without a little assistance. Shisui thought about it and agreed. Naruto wasn't the best, but since they began training him, he had gotten a lot better. Why don't you train Sasuke though? Shisui asked. I've seen Sasuke coming up to you before we go train together, asking for you to bring him along so he can learn, and you always promise him you'll do it later, but you never do. So why do you make time for Naruto and not for Sasuke? Itachi thought about his answer before giving it. You see, Sasuke's a gifted Uchiha. He has a lot of insane potential, more than me if I were to say so, but therein lies the issue. He's got potential to be better than me, and I was recruited into the Anbu just last year. That's age 11, not even legal. What do you think will happen to Sasuke? Shisui began to understand. You're sparing your little brother. Itachi nodded. The world is a cruel place for shinobi, even more so if you're Anbu. I have a stiff heart that has a hard time processing certain emotions. Sasuke though, Sasuke's nothing but feels. I don't want the darkness that is the system getting its hands on him and turning him into someone he isn't. I see. That makes sense, Shisui said. But that being said, Itachi, I don't know if that's your right to choose. Sasuke has the right to turn down admittance into the Anbu until he's ready, as did you. He deserves a choice, and if you can help him get that choice, it's your responsibility as his brother to do so. Itachi thought about these things as he was heading home. He was going to get a day off in the morning due to Shisui volunteering to take his shift for him and basically pull an all-nighter with Naruto under the guise of a sleepover. So when Itachi came home and saw Sasuke sitting at the table coloring something with crayons, Itachi decided to take Shisui's idea. He walked over to the table and sat down beside it and just watched Sasuke as he worked. The staring slowly became awkward and drew Sasuke's unbridled attention. What? Itachi, head propped on his fist, elbow planted into the table, spoke. I was just thinking about a certain promise I made you not long ago and how I need to finally fulfill it. What promise? Sasuke asked. Itachi poked Sasuke in the forehead. At first, Sasuke was confused, but then the realization hit him. You're gonna train me? Itachi nodded. Yes, I am. Sasuke jumped up with excitement, finally getting the chance to train with the shinobi he valued the most. The next day, Itachi would train with Sasuke, teaching him to utilize Shuriken Jutsu, telling him to look carefully and just keep winging it until he finds something that works. Sasuke had a few misses, but his accuracy was fairly high, likely because he was an Uchiha. Even though Sasuke had yet to awaken his Sharingan, it seemed his mind was able to process things at incredible speeds. Sasuke's growth was nothing short of astonishing, and he was proving every minute, for better or worse, that he had more potential than Itachi. But as more months passed, and eventually Itachi found himself turning 13, the Anbu could officially accept him into their ranks. Due to this, Itachi was eventually pulled off of guard duty for Naruto, with Shisui taking over. That being said, Itachi couldn't simply let Naruto go. He couldn't abandon the boy, so he continued to show up and play with Naruto as if nothing ever happened. One day, Itachi came home early in the morning from a long mission that had him staying awake for nearly 48 hours. It was a secret mission, of course, and people had died, many by Itachi's own hands. He had blood on his hands, and while that bothered him, he found his conscience was empty. He'd performed his duty, and they had performed theirs. The work they all did was dangerous work that often pitted shinobi against each other, so there was a certain honor to die at the hands of a skilled enemy. Your name would be written down in your village and remembered forever. Or at least that's how Itachi rationalized it, and it was working well so far. By the time he got home though, his parents were already awake. Makoto saw him come in and gave him a hug. She sniffed him, causing her to turn her nose up in disgust. "You need a bath, son," she said. Itachi smiled and nodded. Makoto then pushed his hair to the side and took his hands. "Oh, you're tired, aren't you, baby?" Itachi nodded. "Well, go take a bath, and I'll get you something to eat for breakfast. Then you can head up to bed." Itachi nodded again, his own fatigue robbing him of words. He hit the bath and took no time relaxing, fearing that if he did so, he might fall asleep and drown. Heading downstairs, he got his breakfast and began to eat. Fugaku, reading the paper, spoke. "We've got another meeting at the Naka Shrine today," he said. "Another one," Itachi muttered through the brain fog. Fugaku nodded. "Yeah, I know. It's unusual for a second meeting to be called within the same week, but it's important, and everyone who is at least Genin level and an active service shinobi is required to be there. You think you can make it after your nap?" Itachi thought about it. "What time will it be tonight?" Fugaku looked down at his watch and then up at the clock on the wall out of habit, as if to make sure the time was correct. "At about 9 p.m., 13 hours from now." Itachi nodded. "I should be able to make it tonight, but Mom will need to wake me later tonight before the meeting starts, just in case I try to sleep through." "Your mother will wake you," Fugaku said. At just about that time, Sasuke came trotting down the stairs. "Itachi, you're home!" He nearly tackled his brother, causing Itachi to lose balance and have to catch himself with his hand. "Sasuke, leave your brother alone. He's had a hard few days. He's tired." Sasuke pulled off. "Do you think you'll have enough time to train me today?" Itachi smiled and shook his head. "No, baby, Itachi's sleepy. He needs rest," Makoto said. Sasuke made a pouty face at those words, but understood and sat down. After the meal was served, Fugaku stood and grabbed his flak jacket. "I'm off," he said. Makoto and Sasuke waved at him. Itachi, standing up, began to make his way upstairs to the bedroom. Makoto followed him, closing the curtains in his room. As Itachi fell into his bed, he was only lucid enough to hear Makoto wish him a good sleep before covering him up. Itachi drifted off to sleep. At about 7 p.m., Makoto woke Itachi up. She told him that he needed to get ready for the meeting and that she had fixed him dinner. Itachi was still sleepy, but he got up anyway. Grabbing his gear, he put it on and began to make his way downstairs where he got something to eat. After that, he stepped outside into the twilight, the darkness starting to take over. Shisui met up with him there and offered to walk with him to Naka Shrine. On their way there, they began to converse over what this meeting could be about. Itachi said that he thought it wasn't a good sign. If they felt the need to call a second meeting in the same week, it's likely that something important has happened. "And the chances that this could be them deciding to attempt a coup?" Shisui asked. Itachi looked over at his friend. "It's high. Very high." "What are we gonna do if they decide a coup?" Shisui asked. "I don't know. We need to figure something out." The two continued to walk toward the shrine until they saw everyone entering the building. Itachi and Shisui filed in behind everyone else. They found their seats and sat down. Looking around, they noticed that even a few of the rare attendees were there. "Something big is happening," Itachi said, "and I don't like it." It wasn't long until Fugaku took to the stage to speak. "Thank you all for attending this meeting. I promise it'll be short, but there's something we need to inform you about. The elders held a secret vote last night and the verdict is in. We are going to move forward with our plan to depose the Hokage and the Konoha Council in favor of new leadership. Battle plans are currently in the works and will be ready by this time next week. When the plans are revealed, we will have a quick briefing session before moving into the attempt." Itachi slapped his own face with his hands. Oh dear. It seemed that they were a bit too late. "What are we gonna do now, Itachi?" Shisui asked. Itachi shook his head. "I don't know. I think I'm going to try to talk some sense into my father." "You know that won't work," Shisui said. "I know, Shisui, but it's the only plan I've got. If I don't try it, millions could die." "Well, now is probably the best time," Shisui said. "It looks like your father wants to talk to you." After everyone had left, Fugaku was left alone with his son. "Father, can I just say something?" "Before you begin, Itachi, I need to say something myself." Itachi's shoulders lowered as he surrendered first remarks to his father. "Son, I'm quite proud of you for everything you've done. For becoming a member of the Anbu, and at such a young age. It's gotta be a record or something. But now it's time to leave that part of your life behind. I know you're nervous about the coup, but we need your help. You were the one closest to the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, Naruto. We need you to go get him and bring him to us. That way we can unseal the Nine Tails from within him. With that as our deterrent, we could probably get Konoha to surrender. Itachi was shocked. Naruto? Your plans to use Naruto? If we want a bloodless coup, we need his tailed beast. It can't be a bloodless coup if you're gonna rip it right out of him. He'll die. Fugaku thought about it. You're right. He will. And that's a tragic thing, but it might be necessary. Itachi shook his head. No, I refuse to believe that. Why would you choose this option instead of anything else? There are many Mangekyou Sharingan users from the war. The Susanoo exists. Why do you need the Nine Tails? Itachi waited a moment to get an answer, his heart pounding, his breath quickening. His cortisol levels were through the roof. He then spoke. Tell me, does this have to do with whatever grudge you hold against him? Fugaku seemed confused. Grudge? Itachi nodded. The first time I brought him to the house, you two didn't get along. Fugaku sat there in disbelief. You think I hate Naruto? And that's why I'm doing this? You must not know me as well as I thought. I don't hate Naruto, Itachi. I love him. Itachi was confused. Love? Fugaku explained. You think my feelings the day he came were from hatred? No, I never hated him. I always defended him. He's not just a street rat, Itachi. I don't know what Hiruzen has told you, but that boy is the son of the 4th Hokage, my best friend. Itachi was not exactly shocked to hear that Naruto was the son of Minato Namikaze. He remembered hearing the same some time ago from Hiruzen. However, the fact that Minato was Fugaku's best friend was something totally different. He didn't know his father was at all that close with Minato. Then, what was all that at the house that night? Fugaku ran his fingers through his hair to calm his emotions. That wasn't hatred. That was me being disappointed in how Naruto was raising himself. But that's the point, Dad. Naruto is raising himself. He's doing the best he can. Fugaku wiped his face with his hands, as if removing sweat that was starting to irritate him. I know, son. Then why did you ban him from our house? Fugaku turned back to face Itachi again. Because he attacked Sasuke and stabbed him in the face. I may be sympathetic towards him, but family always comes first. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying about Naruto right now. The Uchiha can no longer stand under the oppression of Konoha, and I can't stop them. I can't tell them to ride it out anymore. They'll do the coup without my approval. The best I can do is attempt to limit the damage, and the only way to do that is to seize the Nine Tails and make a show of force. That wasn't us who attacked Konoha near 7 years ago, but it will be this time. And when we use the beast for the first time, it will also be our last time. So you're right, it's not a bloodless coup. Naruto's blood will stain the ground, and one day, right before I drop into hell for this, I'll tell Minato and Kushina I'm sorry. But all in all, it's the only thing I can do. If I don't, not only will more Uchiha die, but more Konoha nin as well. Men, women, children. I'm choosing the lesser of two evils. But you're still choosing evil, Itachi said blatantly. Fugaku thought about it. I suppose I am. But what other choice is there? I may be clan head, but I'm not all-powerful. In the end, everything's a democracy. Every political situation is a democracy. Votes cast by actions, delegates counted by firepower. One man, if strong enough, can become the majority over the masses. But I'm not that man. I can't stop this. So the best I can do is limit it. And that's the best you can do as well, Itachi. That's why I need you to use your position, your friendship, to lead Naruto to me. I'll make it as quick and painless as possible. He'll get to be with his family. The only ones who will suffer will be you and me. Itachi gripped the side of his head as he tried to process this. He turned around and walked out the door. As he did, Shisui was waiting outside. He walked up. Yo, Itachi, what did he say? He's gonna kill him. Kill who? Shisui asked. Itachi began to fill Shisui in on the situation. No, not lil' buddy. Itachi felt like he was gonna be sick. Right now, he was the crux of this issue. He was the fulcrum that the world was balancing on, and he knew it. The pressure was building. We need to tell Hiruzen. And tell him they did. Itachi felt like a traitor, but it was time to involve Konoha. Konoha needed to know what the Uchiha were doing, and so he told them. He told Hiruzen everything. He told them about the Uchiha uprising and their plans and the time that they would mobilize. Hiruzen was disappointed to hear this, though he wasn't exactly surprised. Calling an emergency council meeting, they discussed the next steps. Itachi and Shisui were called to testify there and deliver the information. It was then that Shisui mentioned something. This really was my last resort. I haven't told anyone about this. You five will be the first to know. I awakened my Mangekyou Sharingan during the war. Shisui displayed them. Outside of this room, nobody knows this. For the sake of Konoha, I bear the truth about myself that I hide for security. This Mangekyou Sharingan contains within it the technique known as Koro Amatsukami. It allows me to cast a subtle genjutsu that can alter people's way of thinking without them knowing it. Lord Fugaku has said that he has no other choice because the majority rules over his power, and he's not willing to watch his clan die. With this ability, I can alter the clan's way of thinking. Maybe this way, I can stop the clan from betraying the village. Hiruzen and the council members all began to speak for a time, leaving Itachi and Shisui in limbo. Hiruzen then looked back. The council has decided to allow you a chance to try this, but if you do not accomplish your mission before the set time, Konoha will have no choice but to move into the compound and put down any dissent posed. Do you understand? Both Itachi and Shisui bobbed their heads in approval. The two left. As Itachi was headed home to the compound, he stopped by Naruto's apartment. He didn't go in, but instead stood outside and watched. He saw Naruto sitting on the balcony, looking over Konoha and the Hokage monument. For a moment, it seemed their eyes locked, but then it was broken as Itachi continued to walk. Returning home, he found his little brother there. Itachi would do anything for Sasuke, and though he loved his family, he was caught between a rock and a hard place, having to choose between his country and his family. What an impossible choice. This was a secret he'd take to the grave with him. They could never know what he had done. It was only later that night when Itachi thought he sensed Shisui nearby. Stepping outside, he found a note that said to meet by the Naka River. There was blood on the corner of the paper. Itachi grew worried. Heading to the river, Itachi stopped and saw Shisui there. Shisui, he called out. Shisui! Shisui looked back. He was bleeding from one eye. Shisui, what happened? Are you okay? Itachi drew a little closer when Shisui told him to stop. Shisui, what's wrong? Shisui began to explain. It was a mistake to tell Hiruzen and the council about this. Danzo tried to kill me. He stole one of my Mangekyou Sharingan. Itachi was shocked. We can get it back eventually. You've still got Kodoama Tsukami, don't you? Shisui nodded. I do, but I can't use it. This eye that's left has an insanely slow cooldown time. I can't cast it again. Not until well after the time has come and gone. Itachi was startled. What are we gonna do? Shisui sat there for a moment. We're gonna perform a Hail Mary. I'm going to bet everything on you, Itachi, that your Mangekyou can handle this situation. But Shisui, I don't have a Mangekyou Sharingan. Shisui smiled. I know, but you soon will. Shisui reached up and plucked his other Sharingan from his head. Blinded now, he handed the eye over to Itachi. Itachi was confused. But how can I use this if it's still on cooldown? And why give it to me? Because you're the only person I can trust with it, Itachi. Don't let Danzo get it. Keep him from taking it yourself, Itachi said, realizing where this was going. Shisui smiled one last time. I hope, whatever your abilities are, that they help you in your path. Shisui then threw himself into the river. Watching his best friend die, Itachi couldn't help but feel the darkness and hatred of this world dig into his skull. Falling to his knees, still clutching the Mangekyou, Itachi's whole world fell apart. Without Shisui, there was no way for him to choose anything but the lesser of two evils. But which was the lesser? He now had to decide. The village or the Uchiha? Shisui's body would be discovered later, and it would be blamed on Itachi, who could never explain what happened. Indeed, that moment awakened his Mangekyou, and he was presented with at least one ability that contained a Genjutsu, but it wasn't like Kodoama Tsukami. It was useless in this scenario. It was then that Itachi was confronted by Danzo. Itachi wanted to murder him, and Danzo knew this. But Danzo simply delivered a message to him. There's no way for you to stop the coup. The only thing that can be done now is the euthanization of the Uchiha clan. You can either join our side and wipe out the Uchiha and save yourself, or you can join them and die. What will it be, Itachi? Itachi shook his head. No, you can't. You can't make me choose like that. Danzo thought about it. I know you, Itachi. That which you love most. If you choose to stand against us, not only will we kill every Uchiha member, but we'll kill your brother as well. Join us, and we'll let you spare him. Deep down, you know they can't win. They may have been able to once, but you spoiled their surprise, so now we're ready for them, at any moment. Itachi stood there, emotionally defeated. Danzo then spoke. That boy, Naruto, were you really willing to sacrifice himself to save your family? I should let you know, if you join the Uchiha, I will not only kill you and your family, but I'll strip that boy of his tailed beast. You'll never get away with it, Itachi said. Danzo scoffed. On the contrary, I will. You think the village will care that I killed the whelp? No, the village will applaud me. And due to the uprising, I'm merely acting in defense of Konoha as per my position's mandate. I'm doing no wrong. But you're surrounded by bad choices. You've already betrayed your clan, so there's no escaping being a traitor. If you decide to join the Uchiha, you may, but you'll die as a traitor to Konoha. But if you help put them down, you'll live. You'll still be a traitor, but at least you'll be alive. You have until tomorrow night. If you wait beyond that time, I will send Root in and they will kill everyone, including you. Danzo then left. Itachi, now by himself, began to wonder what he could do, where his life would end up. He was now left with no other choice. If he chose to stay with his family, they would all die, including Naruto and Sasuke. There was a chance the coup could succeed now that Itachi had his Mangekyou, but even if it did, the next world war would break out and more people would have died regardless. If he chose to stand with Konoha, he would have to kill his own clansmen and become a traitor to the village. The more he thought about it, the more obvious the lesser of two evils became. He either saved 2 innocent lives by staining his hands with blood, or he would condemn 2 innocent lives just to maintain his conscience. Itachi made the fateful decision that he needed to assist in the eradication of the Uchiha. Itachi could neither eat nor sleep, and his parents noticed this. Perhaps deep down they knew what had happened. Perhaps deep down they already knew what was coming. Through the day, Itachi wandered about until he found a certain masked man who he requisitioned for help, and help was granted. On that night, Itachi put his armor on and proceeded to wipe out the entire Uchiha clan, going from house to house, taking out civilians, all while the masked man blitzed the more militarized areas of the compound. Eventually, Itachi made it home. Entering, he stood behind his parents, who were already waiting for him. "Mom, Dad, it's okay, Itachi. We know what's going on." Itachi approached them. "I'm sorry." Fugaku spoke. "No, I'm sorry. I was in a tough position, and because of that, I put you into one as well. We're both just men, caught in a tough position, forced to act upon each other by those we serve. For what it's worth, I don't blame you." Itachi was starting to cry. "Mom, Dad, why are you not facing me? I don't want the last thing I see from you being your backs turned on me." Makoto spoke. "Our backs may be turned away from you, but our hearts never will be. Trust us, it's better this way. When you do what you do, Itachi, close your eyes. Don't watch. And know that no matter where you are or where you go, we'll always be there with you." Itachi shook his head. "Please, just take Sasuke and run. I can fake it. I can fake your deaths. Then I can flee and meet up with you." Fugaku shook his head. "No, son. They'll know immediately and will kill you. I may be a lot of messed up things, and I think about how crappy of a legacy I've left behind when I'm dying. But one thing I'll never say is that I got my son killed due to my selfishness. So just make it quick. I love you." "I love you," Makoto parroted. Itachi didn't want to do it. He grit his teeth and groaned at his rage and sorrow as they built up to a boiling point. Fugaku then spoke. "Swallow your emotions, Itachi. You're no longer a child. Stop crying and fulfill your mission, or I'll be forced to do it for you." Itachi steadied his hand. It was as if time had ceased to move. He took a deep breath, and with a loud battle cry, he swung his blade, cutting them both down. As they fell forward, he felt his heart shatter. His tears ceased. He felt numb. He felt empty. It was only then that from behind, the door opened. It was Sasuke. "Brother, what's happening?" Itachi looked back. Sasuke was home early? Or maybe Itachi had lost track of time. Either way, this wasn't a good thing. Or maybe it was. Itachi realized what a monster he was, what he deserved. This was the moment, the time to push, to force Sasuke to awaken the power that would make him a king among ninja. He cast him under genjutsu, causing him to relive everything Itachi had. Itachi knew that if he himself hadn't awakened the Mangekyo, he would have through this event, and now he was pushing it onto Sasuke. Was this the most intelligent thing to do? No, it wasn't. It was insane, traumatizing and scarring for life the one you loved most just so they could get a little bit stronger. That was insanity. But maybe Itachi was insane. His conscience felt as if the fires of hell were licking it. He was in anguish, utter pain, torture. So many emotions that Itachi wasn't used to. A man who had only ever been about cold logic was now lost to emotion without reason. Itachi questioned in some cases how this could even be real. "I must be dreaming, or in hell or something. This can't be reality." Itachi was so detached that he continued to leave anyway. In his heart, it felt as if nothing had ever happened. His emotions were broken. The stress had become too much. His mind simply stopped trying to process it. It wasn't worth it anymore. Or so Itachi thought. That was until Sasuke appeared behind him, Sharingan blazing, attempting to attack him. Despite how skilled Sasuke was, Itachi was still way ahead of him. And even though Sasuke had awakened his Sharingan, it simply wasn't enough. He put him on the ground and knocked him out with Tsukiyomi again. As he saw Sasuke lying upon the ground, drooling into the dirt, Itachi felt it rush through him again. Panic, followed by sorrow. If Itachi were even 1% weaker, he would have fallen into a massive panic attack that would have left him debilitated. But instead, he kept focused. He powered through the emotions through sheer willpower, only displaying tears instead as he walked away. As soon as he was out of the village, he sat down under a tree and waited for the rush of emotions to leave him. They didn't. He instead puked right then and there. Not just once, but multiple times until there wasn't anything left to vomit. The masked man appeared beside him from out of nowhere. My, aren't we in a bad headspace right now? Itachi got control of what felt like a never-ending cycle of vomit and oxygen. Pulling back, he spoke. I'm fine. What do you want? The masked man spoke. I know you can never return to Konoha, so I propose somewhere for you to go that is safe. Meet me by the Naka River. I have an escape plan. Itachi nodded. As the man left, Itachi stood. He had one last thing to do, and that was to claim his mission as accomplished to Hiruzen. Heading straight there, he explained what had happened and what he had to do. Hiruzen tried to offer him things to make it easier, but nothing could have made him feel any better. He simply told Hiruzen to watch over Sasuke and Naruto both, which Hiruzen promised to do. After this, Itachi would leave the Hokage's residence. Before stopping by the river, he went to Naruto's house. Knowing that he was leaving, he felt he at least owed Naruto a goodbye. He would come to the outside of his bedroom and open the window. He'd crawl in and just sit on the windowsill. He watched Naruto sleep for a moment. As it stood now, he envied Naruto and wished he could have been him at this point in time. But that's not how the world worked. Naruto would eventually wake up. Itachi, what are you doing here? I came to talk. What are you wearing? Naruto asked, having never seen Itachi in his Anbu uniform. It was then that Naruto noticed the blood on the uniform. Oh no, you're not hurt, are you? Itachi looked down at his suit. No, not physically at least. Itachi continued to speak. Naruto, I came to say goodbye. You're leaving? Naruto asked sadly. Itachi nodded. I have to go. Things have changed for me. I can't stay in the village any longer. This means we likely won't see each other again. But that doesn't mean our friendship will end. I still care about you, and always will. I promise. Naruto seemed sad as he listened. Itachi looked outside to the night sky, up at all the stars that seemed to grow dimmer tonight. Why do you have to leave? Naruto asked. Itachi then spoke. I don't want to talk about it. It's just not good. I'm sorry that this is how it has to be, but I need you to promise me something. What is it? Naruto asked. My little brother, Sasuke. He's going to be very, very lonely, very hurt, very angry. He'll probably cry a lot as well. I need you to be his friend. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that Sasuke kid. Itachi let off a chuckle. I know, but will you do it for me? Please? Naruto nodded his head. Thanks, Naruto. Itachi sat forward, ready to leave. I guess I'll see you around. Suddenly, Naruto hugged Itachi. Itachi sat there and accepted the hug. After a moment more, Naruto let him go. I'll miss you, big brother, Naruto said. Itachi, hardly able to stop himself from crying, spoke. I'll miss you too, but I'll never be too far away, and if you ever need me, call out my name and I'll be there in a flash. And with that, Itachi was out the window. Itachi would board the boat and be taken to meet a man named Pain. Itachi would be brought into the Akatsuki, where he would both be safe and serve as an informant to Konoha. But all the while, he could never forget about Sasuke and Naruto. Itachi's story was a tragedy, full of darkness, but every so often a smile would creep on his face when he thought about things from his past. He was glad Hiruzen had put him on guard duty for Naruto. He only wished it could have lasted longer. And that's gonna be a wrap, I feel. I think that's about as far as the story needs to go. That being said, if you all liked it, be sure to let us know with a like and a comment. If it's popular enough, maybe we'll drop a new part or a sequel series or something. But until that time, feel free to check out these other videos on your screen. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell, and until next time, peace.